Berlanga.com and Halftime Pizza proudly present WAWR Week Radio Chats with ring announcer and commentator Joseph Herron.
Guys, welcome. Happy Monday evening to all of you. Wow, it's the very late hour of 11:07 Eastern. And guys, we want to thank my special guest this evening for joining us from our nation's capital. Well, very close to it anyway. And that's the always astute editor-in-chief of the FightSaga.com. And that's my brother Lee Cleveland. Lee, how are you doing this evening, sir?
Yes, sir. It's been a long time, and I always love being on your show because, you know, Joseph Herron, like, the WAWR Week show is the best boxing show out there. And I love it. And this is real boxing. This isn't this gobbledygook conspiracy shit. No nonsense. This is real. Like, you have experience, man. You have experience. You know what it is. I'm going to be on this show. I won't be on these other shows because it's bullshit. But no, Joseph, you have a really good sense of boxing. And
well, brother, I had great mentors, Lee, and thank you for the kind words, brother. I had great mentors, you being one of them, Coach Gogi being my strongest mentor, same with Don Chargan, same with Emmanuel Stewart. But guys, we'll go into that later, and I've got a lot to talk about. Well, the racket that YouTube is currently running. But guys, at this time, I'd also like to introduce a very dear friend of mine. Well, and he's got a YouTube channel, and guys, please go subscribe if you can. And it's my very dear friend, EJ Electro Jed. How you doing, my brother?
What's up, Joseph? How you doing, Lee?
What's up, EJ?
What a weekend, man. What a fucking weekend, man. I'm just gonna say it. Dude, well, I had to open up shop and do an aftermath today because there was no way I wasn't gonna talk about this weekend's event. It's just too much that went on.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. And once again, Gogi, you know, Gogi being Gogi, last night we only got to touch on basically what he wanted to talk about, because when you bring up Adrian Broner, you bring up Jaime Munguia, he just shuts it down very quickly. You know what, man? I don't want to put up with any bullshit, and I don't want to talk about any bullshit. That's Gogi, right? You're not going to get him to open up about something that he doesn't want to open up about, right? And Lee, you know that about Coach Gogi.
Oh yeah, he's no nonsense, man. Like that guy.
So I tell you what, guys, we're going to talk about a lot tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun, guys, for the next several hours. And Lee, I'm so happy that you're joining us for as long as you can. We know it's late over there on the East Coast. So we're going to start things off. And once again, our main event of the evening, guys, is Canelo, the current soap opera at 168 pounds.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah. And guys, I just got off the phone, and I'm currently working on an article. I just got off the phone with Coach Ronnie Shields and asked him to verify or validate the current report from Mike Coppinger. My apologies. He actually, and once again, he just reported that Team Canelo reached out to Al Heyman for a potential Jamal Charlo fight this September. Well, I'll let you know what Ronnie Shields thinks, and I'll put it in article form. You can read about it tomorrow morning as well. But we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about Canelo versus the possibility of Hamburger Langa. We'll also talk about the potential Badu Jack Daniels in the Middle East.
I've been talking about Badu all damn day.
Woo! We'll also talk about a potential outing, and we'll see if he still is interested in the Dimitri Bivol rematch, right? So we're going to explore all options, later on in the program. But right now, and EJ, you said it, we're going to talk about this past weekend. And we're going to talk about, honestly, we're going to talk about Teofimo's retirement plans. We'll get Lee's opinion on that. We'll also get EJ's opinion on that as well as my brother from another mother, also in our nation's capital, Big JR from the Boxing Source. James, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, I'm here to make an announcement.
All right, let's hear it, brother. Come on.
All right. I won't do another
What's up, Boxing Source?
What's going on, Electro Jed? But I'm here to make an announcement that I'm not going to have another podcast unless I get 9 figures.
Woo! And look. I will say this, guys, and this has been an ongoing problem within the career of Teofimo Lopez. And guys, first of all, we want to pick the brain of boxing historian Lee Cleveland, former prize fighter, journalist, jack of all trades. Lee, what say you, brother? What is the probability of this retirement sticking?
That's a good question, Joseph. Like, okay, I'm going to cycle back real quick. Have patience with me. Back when Hagler lost to Leonard in April 1987, all these magazines came out and everyone was like, all these boxing experts, it's like, oh, there's a 99.99% chance he'll come back. You know, and he never did. That's stated. You know, I know this stuff. That's stated. Yeah, boxing history is replete with fighters coming back. Jack Dempsey, Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Leonard. No, you know, that's not going to happen. I mean, now with Mikey Garcia, it's a different story. So Mike Garcia is, you know, I think he's college educated, has a degrees, whatever. Even with him, it's hard. But with Teofimo, no. Like he's a young man. He's still feeling his way through. He's eventually going to find out that, hey, it's boxing or nothing. And that's going to be the way it is. I mean, unless he hits the lottery or unless he has some new invention or some new patent.
You're talking about Teofimo Lopez,
like Bill
brother.
Gates.
You're talking about Teofimo Sr. and Jr. Okay, there's no new inventions coming out of those medullas. I will say this though.
Like there's a new invention.
And look. They're not like Rocky Marciano either, in which he made a lot of money during his retirement.
Well, off his restaurant, right?
No, not only that, but once again, for my mentor, Don Chargan, he would be the guest ring announcer, and people would flock to those shows just to get a piece of the champ, right? Everyone loved Rocky Marciano at the time. He was one of those popular heavyweight champs in this sport's rich history, right?
He was.
Let's get that straight. Undefeated heavyweight champ.
Yep.
Teofimo is not that. I mean, he'll be back.
Yeah.
So for my area, Sugar Leonard, he announced his retirement after the Olympics, after he won a gold medal. He retired the first time then, and then he retired a bunch of times after that.
Yep.
I think that once, give it a year, and Teofimo will come back. And you know what? It'll be billed as like the comeback, the big thing. He's back. The legend's back. The guy that beat Lomachenko, the guy that beat Josh Taylor, he's back. They'll build that, and it'll be a big fight.
Yep, two-time lineal champion, right? Two-time lineal champion.
2 years at most.
No. He'll be back before then. Once again, this is the reason why he went through with the Kambosos fight. Because money, admittedly, seems to slip through his fingers. Now, remember, he let it known, very well known, that he only had, well, less than $100,000 in his bank account, right? That's why he went through with the Kambosos fight. Guys, don't be shocked if he's back within 6 months. But I will say this. I really feel for him right now, and I'll expand a little bit later. EJ, your thoughts on, well, the takeover. And well, do you think his retirement is going to stick? Or how soon do you predict him back in boxing?
I'm going to say a word that people should be used to now with all the politics and everything that has been going on the past few years. The word is hyperbole.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Okay. All that was hyperbole. Another word for bullshit. He ain't going nowhere.
So why are you convinced that it's bullshit, my friend?
Because first of all, because of the financial situation, he's going to go to court to take to get custody of his kid back. So I mean, these things cost money. And how you gonna make money? You got to get in the ring. You got to get in the ring. Now he might take a 6-month hiatus. Fine, that's all good. As long as he fights twice a year, I'm good with it. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what, brother? These family dramas in municipal court, right? And once again, someone on Twitter asked everybody, what's next for Teofimo Lopez? I said municipal court.
Yep.
And I said this, I don't care how tough you think you are, right? I don't care how tough you think you are, what a badass you think you are. A woman can bring you to your knees and have you sobbing like a little baby. Yep, that's the reality.
I could
even the toughest guys. And this is yes, absolutely. And this is a tale as old as time. Look at Samson and Delilah. I don't care how tough you think you are, especially when it comes to kids. This is why I'm very sympathetic to Teofimo Lopez's current plight, because, and this is why I've been very sympathetic to Jamal Charlo. He recently went through the same thing. That's the real reason why he took that quote unquote sabbatical, right? Not much of a sabbatical. Definitely didn't do his psyche any good, because this is a woman who he has 5 kids with. And look, Texas is a community property state. She wanted half, Eddie. She wanted half. Yeah, she wanted half. And James and Lee know what I'm referring to. And you know what I'm referring to as far as that goes, right? But yeah, she wanted everything. And it tore Jamal up. Now, James, can you blame the man for taking that kind of time off and not getting in the ring while he was going through this ordeal? And honestly, I can see Teofimo Lopez taking a similar, vacation from boxing because of this.
So, well, you did ask ElectroJet about, Teofimo Lopez's retirement, and he gave one word to it. I thought that ElectroJet was gonna give you 2 words. So let me see if I can give these 2 words properly. Joseph. It is fake news. Fake. Teofimo Lopez is a guy. I like him. I like him a lot. He's gonna come back. He's gonna come back
stronger than ever.
He's gonna come back stronger than ever. I like him. He is a great guy. He's a great guy.
Another spot-on impression from our brother James. I love it.
I mean, he's too good. He's too good. He's too young.
He's too good. Too talented.
And he doesn't know anything else. I mean,
Brother Lee, what say you?
He's too good, too young. He doesn't know. I mean, what else does he know? Like, he's saying this stuff like, I want to start this, I want to start this. He doesn't know anything else. But he's only, what is he, 24, 25? He doesn't know enough
25.
to know that he doesn't know anything else. But again, he'll get that Rocky II type thing was like, Adrian, I don't know. That's all I know. Like, he'll get
Oh,
that,
that's too
where it's like,
funny.
that's all he knows. My people
Yep.
are
You're absolutely right. And once again, Rocky 2, boy, that brought this serious dilemma for prize fighters to the mainstream. You two can smell mainly. Yeah, we all saw that. And once again, that's a serious problem
It is.
among prize fighters. Guys, before we move forward, hold on. Oh, boy. Can you guys hear me still?
Yes.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yes.
Just fine.
Okay, very, very good, because my Wi-Fi looks like I might have to put on my hotspot. Just one second. But guys, we're going to say hello to our very dear friends in the chat before we move forward and get your remedy for all of this and your prognostication of how you think these things will play out. Once again, we want to give a big shout out to my brother Big Sully. I have a feeling it will be Charlo this time. Jack is a big risk for Canelo. We'll explore that later on in the show. Thank you for being here, sir. Also want to give a shout out to our brother Tycho TV. Salute, fam. Salute to you, my friend. God bless you, brother, and thank you for being a part of this program. We appreciate your opinions and your comments, so please don't hold anything back tonight. I also want to give a big shout out to my brother Juice. Salute, Mr. Heron, panel, and chat. Salute to you, my brother. Thank you for always being here. My brother Larry Liston, W.A.W. Thank you for joining us, sir. He says, Tifimo, the champion of the people. Truly an amazing night of boxing. Shout out to Joe and Gogi for having yet another week of perfect predictions. I shed a tear when Tio defied the odds and won. You know what, brother? It was really, virtually impossible not to feel good for the critical underdog going into this. And you know what? I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And once again, guys, you all know on this channel, I don't have a dog in the hunt. I'm very pro boxing health, and everything else is a distant second, as well as Lee, as well as James, as well as EJ. But it was impossible not to feel good for the underdog from Brooklyn, was it?
No, I agree with you,
Larry, you're alone, brother. Also want to give a big shout out to my brother, Some Rando. He says, oh, I hit the wrong one. My apologies. To take over. Well, we'll see if you can apply that logic to municipal court. We'll see what happens. Thank you for joining us, Some Rando. Also want to give a big shout out to my brother, Gus. Salute, Joseph. Tio, my favorite fighter and the best fighter at those lower divisions. You can make a very strong case at this time for that being the case, brother. But God bless you, my friend. And you know what? You had to feel good on Saturday then if he indeed is your favorite fighter. Now, Larry, I think, may have the beat, guys. Perhaps going into retirement is a cover, so he doesn't have to pay his wife so much in the upcoming divorce, and also raise his pay scale by having them meet his demands to unretire, just like Fury.
All part of the plan.
Yep. Hyperbole.
Well, we'll see, guys. We'll see. It might be something else as well. Also want to welcome my brother LLOHS. Boy, American women are more dangerous than shotguns. Ha ha.
Yeah.
You know what? And Lee, my dear friend Lee Cleveland, boy, he knows I have a lot of experience with that, brother.
Absolutely.
Listen, my first wife was Mexican American, and she used to have the shotgun, one shell, one tube with a slug, and the other one with rock salt.
Oh,
Trust
Chico.
me.
Well, look. Yeah, and that's just a taste, brother. But let me tell you, Vladimir Putin has nothing on Mexicanas, right? Nothing. My brother Kamikaze, welcome to the show, sir. He says, Chingao, Canelo. Salute, Joseph and panel. Thank you, brother, for bringing that up. I say that quite often.
That's your favorite term, man.
Yeah, when it comes to the business of boxing, especially. And my brother EJ says, hit the like, guys and gals. Yes, indeed. My brother Chicken Talk, what up? War a Week, and JB.
What
And
up, though?
look, guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to Chicken Talk on YouTube. What are you waiting for? A very, very insightful gentleman. And always has great guests on his channel. Guys, go subscribe to Chicken Talk at this time. Thank you for joining us, sir. And hey, man, if you want to join this panel, don't be afraid to hit the link, right? Want to welcome Hard Times Boxing. The boxing gods love an upset. Yep, and so do the fans, my friend. Also want to welcome Tyrese Bowie. What up, brother? What up to you, my friend? Thank you for joining us. Also, my brother, Andre Rodriguez. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you, sir. So let's roll forward. Guys, in my opinion, guys, this is going to be all contingent on how quickly they settle things. Now, I'm not sure what New York is. I don't know if it's community property state like Texas, but if it is, guys, expect this to, last at least a year, guys. Guys, you don't understand if you've never been through this ordeal, which I have. Well, expect this to last well over a year because, Miss Teofimo Lopez is not going to go down without a fight. And boy, let me tell you, her attorney, seeing dollar signs, is convincing her of an awful lot. This is the worst. Like, and attorneys, they love it when you're contesting a divorce and contesting custody and trying to, hit your ex up for 50% of everything that he has, right? Okay, attorneys love this shit. Attorneys can't stand it when it's an amicable split and they're still friends. Attorneys hate that shit. Mm-hmm. Attorneys love it when they've got to roll up their sleeves and get dirty. And that's the God's honest truth, guys. There's a special place in Hades for divorce lawyers, right? Lee, what say you, brother? What do you think? How long do you think Teofimo's going to be out? And do you think that this very well may be a lot more taxing on his psyche than, say, Sandor Martin?
It may or may not. So I'm not going to comment on the divorce stuff, but let's cycle back to 1986, 1987, when we had the Mike Tyson, Robin Givens fiasco, right?
Oh boy!
So that was a huge thing on People Magazine with what Barbara Walters interviewed, and Tyson was like drugged up on some antidepressants, and Robin Givens was totally owning him, and then he got rid of her, and it had some effect, but not a lot of effect. This is a tough question. You don't really know how a fighter's going to respond, right? Like, you don't really know. So Tyson came out swinging. He obviously lost. I mean, he knocked out Frank Bruno after the divorce, and he knocked out Carla Truth Williams. Then he lost to Buster Douglas. Came back, had a series of knockouts, and then, we had Holyfield, whatever. You don't really know how it's going to affect someone. I'm still sort of out there. Hard to say, because like a woman, as you know, a woman's a big part of your life, especially if she's the mother of your children.
Yep,
she's a big part of your life.
Dude, let me tell you also, especially if she holds a grudge. Absolutely. Hell hath no fury like a woman's scorn.
Yeah. I mean, it could destroy him, or it could motivate him, or anger him. It depends. Like, he's 25, 26 years old. Like, he's a young man. Like, really? And he's younger. I mean, he was maybe about the same age as Tyson when that happened. He can really dictate his own future. Like, what messed Tyson up was a rape case.
Oh, boy. Yep.
Tyson was still winning. But, yeah, Teofimo, he can come back. Again, after a year or so, after realizing that, hey, I really can't do anything else.
Want to welcome our brother Khalid to the show, but Lee, with your expertise and your historic knowledge of, well, everything boxing, can you actually talk about and apply this logic to Larry Liston's statement? Reminds you of Mosley's ex-wife. Oh, geez, Jen Mosley.
Oh my
Robbing him. I feel sad for Teofimo. She's a classic gold digger. She left him while she was pregnant. All she wanted was that bag. Jen Mosley, who took the titles. Damn.
titles.
I don't know all the details with I understand. I've heard of that, but again, I don't really. I mean, that was I think later in Shane's career when that happened. He wasn't a young man when that happened. Like Teofimo was a young man. Like Tyson was a young man. I think Shane was sort of at the end of his career when that happened.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
didn't
James.
he make the mistake of having Jen as his manager at the time? Or before
Yep.
So,
The Asian tsunami. There it is. Did I just say that on the air?
Yes, you
Holy
did.
shnikes. Oh, now, Khalid, we're going to get to this later on, brother, because tomorrow, Bud and Errol Spence will go face-to-face tomorrow. It's been a long time coming. Now it's going to be the purging of everything, isn't it? Spence and Crawford going face-to-face. I will say this, though, guys. It's going to expose a lot. And the biggest detriment to this promotion, and James, we talked about this, they both have the personality of a stick. Guys, if you're expecting fireworks, don't. James, your thoughts very quickly on the Bud and Errol, press conference to launch the pay-per-view for July 29th.
hey man, it's Spence, man. Strap season, man. I'm going out to get this last belt, man. No. But for real though, yeah, this is gonna be something. But I mean, you already have like I wouldn't necessarily say a bad omen, but one of those guys like pretty much like said something to take it back a little bit by saying, "Oh, this fight doesn't need any promotion, man."
Oh, geez, and obviously that's Terrence Crawford. Now, once again, this has been the entire problem the whole time. Now, keep in mind, guys, negotiations were ongoing since May of last year, and I warned you guys why. We're going to talk all about that a little bit later. Well, let's get through the Teofimo monsoon before that. Guys, let's wrap this up because we have bigger fish to fry. Once again, guys, let's start off counterclockwise this time. Brother James, what do you hope to see Teofimo Lopez? And do you think he's using this retirement plea to potentially renegotiate his existing contract with Top Rank? Once again, he's already stated, as you eloquently stated, as you entered the show, well, he wants 9 figures. What's the probability of that? And what do you realistically see Teofimo Lopez getting with Top Rank, who still has options on his next 2 fights, from what I was told today?
Well, I mean, after Bob Arum listened to Teofimo Lopez's comments talking about he needed 9 figures, I guess Bob Arum was like, "Shut the fuck up, you little prick." Like this, like it's gonna be a really difficult situation as far as like trying to figure out what his contract's going to be. Sometimes they work out the things where a fighter, they have options on a fighter, especially after they get like a win. So I'm thinking that's going to be the route for Teofimo Lopez. Hopefully it's not like the same situation after he, defeated Lomachenko where he asked for way too much.
Oh, boy.
So, we'll see what happens here. I mean, he does have the WBO strap, lineal champion at 140 pounds. So there are, a couple of possibilities out there for him. It's just, will he do it for the price that's out there in the market? That's the real question.
So Chicken Talk, I think, has the beat. Just like Larry Liston, He's using his retirement, so when he goes into court, he has no income to report.
Yes, there you go.
And
All
there it
part of the
is.
plan,
There it is.
baby.
Great minds think alike. And there it is. Double L has this to say. Damn. Just saw Shakur and Jay Prince called out Haney for a fight. Is this another case of clout chasing? Or is Shakur and his team realizing he needs to get those belts before Haney moves up? We'll talk all about that later on in the show.
That's a very
Because
good
don't
question.
you know, Bob Arum is indeed a gambling man. Hey, you know what? You got to give a little to get a little. Well, there it is. EJ, what say you, brother? Your prognostication for Teofimo Lopez's future.
Well, I look at it like this: if he doesn't stay with Top Rank, I think PBC would be the best choice. Although the Saudis have all kinds of money to throw away, they could throw half $500 million away, and it don't even. It's not. It doesn't.
Well,
even
look. I will say this, brother. For a very devout Catholic, that's going to be very difficult for Teofimo to sell that deal to the Middle East. Now, once again, there's a reason why they absolutely love Badu Jack. One, he's Muslim. Well, and two, well, Canelo has his eye on his title. That's it. But Teofimo Lopez, card-carrying member of the Catholic faith. Good luck. Best of luck selling that deal to the Saudis.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but it's like they're the only ones that have a bottomless purse. But I think a sound mind would take you either stay at PBC, which I think he has too much animosity there.
Oh, okay, let me ask
Not
you
PBC,
something before you
stay
go
at
any
Top
further.
Rank.
EJ, before you go any further, has the Prince, has he shown any interest in any weight divisions lower than super middleweight up to this point?
Actually, that's above my pay grade because I don't check out stuff like that.
Woo! Look, brother. Look. Once again, he's in love with the heavyweight division. He loves the cruiserweights. He loves the light heavyweights. He loves the super middleweights. And that's as far as it goes, right? Once again, the Saudis have yet to invest in a division like 140 pounds. I just throw that out there. Now, once again, Lee, what do you think, brother? Your thoughts on this Teofimo Lopez mess, and what do you see on the road ahead for Teofimo Lopez?
I absolutely, positively think he's going to come back. Now, I don't know I'm not going to claim to know his motives for retirement. Like you said, it could be a ploy, or he could have legitimate intentions of just leaving boxing. Regardless, I absolutely, positively think we're going to see him in the next 12 months fighting again because that's all he knows, and that's where the limelight is. That's who he is. And at 25, like what, more
hyperbole, brother.
This guy's 25. Oh my God, hell yeah, he's coming back. Unless he's got some sort of knowledge, unless he's got something under him, and he might, but the odds are he doesn't with these fighters. He's going to be back. Real quickly, it's not only going to be money, Joseph. It's going to be the limelight. It's going to be fighters miss that.
Yeah.
Boy. He walks in the room and he's the man. So if there's money on one side, but owning a room, like having that limelight, say that you're the man, you're one of the top fighters in the world, you're a champion. He's gonna want that. You know Teofimo. He's gonna want that. So this retirement's not gonna last. 12 months, 16 months at the most. But he's gonna come back, and then maybe he's probably priming it, so it's gonna be really big. his promoters could be saying, hey, you know what? Sit out the next year. If someone rises, whether it's a Devin Haney or Javante, if someone rises to the next level and becomes bigger than bigger, then you fight in and you get all this money.
A page from Sugar Ray Leonard's handbook, right?
Yes.
So here are my final thoughts, guys, on the Teofimo Lopez ordeal, right? Guys, once again, here we go again. This is a gentleman who still doesn't understand the business of boxing. Guys, what determines your worth in this business? Well, unless you're competing in the Middle East, are ticket sales, pay-per-view sales, ratings. Guys, the real bosses of boxing have always determined your worth in this business. Not your victory over Josh Taylor, not your victory over Lomachenko, okay? Not your charisma, not your personality, not your fight style. And it's why I stopped doing PR. Once again, is to gravitate towards a specific entertainer and not the other. And it's very hard for a fighter to wrap his head around that. Once again, it's a sport, but it's treated like the motion picture industry, like the music industry. Okay? It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how proficient you are in your line of work. If the fans don't want to, herald you and don't want to pay tickets to see your events, keep in mind, guys, he beat Josh Taylor at the Hulu Theater, not the big room at the MSG. Okay? So if you're asking for astronomical numbers, well, you've got to have numbers to support that. And right now, Teofimo, you don't. You don't. Bob Arum's going to laugh at you, brother. He's going to laugh at you. So, guys, once again, Teofimo, humble yourself. Okay? Humble yourself before your ex-wife does it for you. Humble yourself. Understand the business of boxing. Be realistic in your demands. Okay? That's it. That's it, guys. Good. So once again, my biggest fear, James, is that Teofimo Lopez still doesn't get it. He still doesn't get it. He still doesn't understand what creates, big money contracts and what doesn't.
Yeah, and you see, that's why I was hoping, Teo wouldn't be like he was after the Lomachenko fight,
So hearing though his latest commentary though, even ones directly after the fight, okay, what conclusion did you come to?
Reference to his performance or like what?
No, his commentary about the business.
It's almost like the same, mentality, after going through the back and forth with Top Rank after the Lomachenko fight. He had that, that verbal or that spat back and forth between, him, Arum, and what was it, Goodman or Carl Moretti. And that's how, it ended up being that he had to look around to find a home for the Kambosos fight. So,
oh boy. Yeah. And I tell you what, they taught him a lesson with the Sandor Martin fight, and you were there. How was the crowd there at Sandor Martin at the big MSG?
Oh boy. Yeah, it was spotty. I'd say that. Very, very spotty.
And you're being nice.
Yep.
It was like a graveyard, guys. It was desolate. No one showed up. And once again, Top Rank, they don't care. They're like, hey, man, you know what? If you think you're worth this much, we're going to show you, and you're going to find out the hard way that you're not. And that's exactly what happened. So they gave him that opportunity. Hey, man, prove your mettle. Hey, we'll see what you're worth. Yeah. but when it was a ghost town for Sandor Martin. Yeah, that's exactly what happened, guys. That's why they moved it. Okay, the Josh Taylor fight to the Hulu Theater.
Yep.
Right? They had very little options after that.
Yep.
So Teofimo Lopez, once again, get a clue, brother, because you'll start benefiting by living in reality. And those are my final thoughts. Thank you, James. And Khalid has the beat. BLK Prime, well, as well as Don King Productions, is writing up a contract for Teo right now. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I will say this, though, in terms of action and, well, just nonsensical comments, Teofimo did apologize to Taylor right after the fight, which showed some humility. Very good, Hard Times. Thank you for bringing that up, my friend. And once again, it was hard not to root for Teofimo Lopez on Saturday night, wasn't it? But, guys, let's move on to our main event of the evening, and that's Canelo Alvarez, the ongoing soap opera at 168 pounds. Oh, boy. So, once again, the title of the show, Canelo versus W.A.W, Jamal Charlo, Hamburger Langa, or Dimitri Bivol. Guys, if you had to make a prediction, just knowing what you know right now, and once again, I was told this last week from two people that I trust within the industry. They said, look, it's a wrap. Make no mistake about it, his next two fights are going to be W.A.W and Edgar Berlanga. And I chose not to believe it. But seeing how everything has unfolded since then, I'm like, damn you bastards. Yeah. So, guys, once again, we're going to go counterclockwise right now. Well, it's getting late. It's approaching midnight. Let's go to Lee first. Lee, if you had to make a guess, who would you say the Canelo fights in the fall and why?
I absolutely agree with that philosophy. I'll tell you why. Because, if you're the champion, you have a lot of money. Your goal is to make the most money as possible without taking as much risk as possible. Edgar Berlanga and W.A.W.
Yep.
Absolutely. You're a superstar. You're Madonna. Britney Spears. Billy Joel. You fight anybody. They can fight. He can fight you.
You're aging yourself, Lee. You're aging yourself, brother.
But he can fight you and make a lot of money. So wait a minute. Why fight Bivol, whose name isn't that big anyway? Why not fight Edgar Berlanga, who's maybe kind of green? Why not fight this other fight? Yeah, absolutely. I think that to me, that makes the most sense as far as a boxing promotion, because you got this guy Canelo Alvarez. Hey, let's take on the Berlangas. He's what, 20-0 with 16 knockouts, or 21-0 with 16 knockouts, or he had what, 15 knockouts in the first round. He's a good selling point. Probably a little green. Probably take him out of there. Why not? You don't want to fight Bivol. That's the one thing. Unless there's a big pot of gold, Joseph. You don't want to do that.
Which there isn't.
Unless there's a big pot of gold, unless that fight is Mayweather Pacquiao, you don't really want to take that. So yeah, well, let me fight Bivol.
Lee, I will say this, brother. You're making too much sense from a business perspective, and your knowledge of the business is disturbing. Boo!
Yeah, and as you know, unfortunately, that's kind of the way it is, right? Like, that's like, hey, if I'm promoting Canelo, I'm going to make money off this guy either way, whether I'm fighting Berlanga or whether I'm fighting Bivol. I'm going to easily choose Berlanga, easily, because my guy's got a much better chance to win this fight. We've already saw what happened with Bivol. and he's not even really a big name. I mean, your goal is, again, unfortunately, Joseph, the goal is to make as much money as possible without risking, and I think that what was it, Berlanga the 42-year-old guy,
He's 39 years old, Badu Jack.
Badu Jack, yes, like that.
42.
That's yeah.
Yeah, look. And Lee, once again, you make way too much sense, but that's the reason why we love having you on the panel with your expertise of the business of boxing. And that's one of the things that we profess on this show, to give you guys a greater understanding as to why certain matchups happen and why certain matchups don't. But once again, want to welcome my brother Dub Rightside to the show. And he says, cancel it here, ducking smoke if he fights Jack. But I know I'm biased for saying that. Well, thank you for coming to the show, brother. And guys, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to our brother Dub Rightside. Hard Time says this: Canelo won't find Berlanga. The outrage would be more than even Canelo fans could shoulder. Well, I will say this: how many of those fans are actually supporting the sport financially any further?
Exactly.
EJ, your thoughts, brother? Well, before I get your thoughts, let me read you a quote from my brother Ronnie Shields. Excuse me. I just got off the phone with him before this show, and I'm working on an article right now. It'll be up here in the AM on Boxing News 24, guys. Look for that. He said, quote, and this is my brother Ronnie, and he's going to be on the show tomorrow night on WAWR Week Radio, co-hosted by my brother Big JR from the Boxing Source. And he says this: I think Team Canelo is still interested in the Bivol rematch, but wants him to accept the meager terms, and is showing Team Bivol how many alternative options that he has currently. As far as the possibility of a Charlo Canelo fight in September, man, I'll believe it when I see it. We've been waiting for that fight for several years, being the leading candidate, so to speak. Man, so I have no confidence that'll ever get made. In my opinion, Joseph, I think we have a better chance of the Tooth Fairy visiting me this evening. End quote. EJ, your thoughts on Ronnie's comments?
Ronnie hit the nail on the head there, honestly. He hit the nail on the fucking head there. Ronnie's not wrong too often, that's for damn sure. Like you said, Lee will give you the financial part. I would give you the fan part. And my part is, for me, I think Canelo would go selfishly, and I see him going with Badu Jack before he does a fucking Charlo or anyone like that. Because
yeah, look, guys, it's no surprise that he didn't even respond to the very generous proposal of Samson Lukowitz, who is the promoter for Dave Benavidez. So that means he didn't even consider him as a potential opponent. Yep.
But so Joseph, like, I couldn't agree more with EJ. You see 100%. But be careful when you say he. Like, we're not talking about Canelo. I personally think Canelo would like to fight any of these guys. I think.
Well, that's a given. And once again, guys, I put out a video, dispelling the entire ducking bullshit myth that fans consistently roll with. Guys, go check it out. It's already online. And once again, it's a fan-driven concept that doesn't exist within the business of boxing, as you were, Lee.
So yeah, these fighters, they're not scared. I fought not professionally, but as an amateur, they're not scared of anybody. They would love to get in the ring with anybody. The only thing is, it's their handlers who actually know a little bit better, right? Is there managers
Yep.
who know better? They're like, I don't think so. So, yeah, I think EJ is 1,000% right. But make sure, like, it's not really Canelo saying this.
No, but I meant the team in general. I did mean the team. I say Canelo because he's in charge of the team. His name is on it. That's why.
No. Make no mistake about this. Eddie Reynoso is in charge of his team.
Yeah, understandably.
And once
But
again, Canelo, like most fighters, don't want to be involved in this stuff.
yeah.
Okay, Canelo would be willing to step in the ring with Godzilla tomorrow if it meant making life-changing money. And so that's a huge problem, though, Lee and EJ and James, right? Is his ambition still there? This is a guy who has more money now than he ever dreamt of having. Does he still have the appetite for destruction? James, what say you?
I kind of seen his Canelo's demeanor, or kind of like his mojo, so to speak, after his fight with John Ryder. And
oh boy,
in that fight, in his previous couple of fights, we've known about like his movement and his lack of movement due to his knee. So I don't think that he wants to go and face guys like a Bivol or somebody that can move very well or could be very active. So I think having, as said before, the fights with the least risk at this stage of his professional career. He's been a professional a very long time now. So I wouldn't be surprised one bit if he goes that Berlanga and W.A.W route. And as I said yesterday, this is the second time that he has declined a fight with David Benavidez. So that should pretty much tell you what his direction is as far as like this particular point of his career.
And there it is. And look, let me welcome my brother Jose Varela to the show. He says, "Isn't Canelo 5'8"? Salute, Joe. Salute to you, my friend. Thank you for the comment. And Hard Times has the beat. He says, "Jose, Canelo is 5'8" in Spanish heels. Guys, I've stood next to him. He's 5'8" on a good day with heels on. Yes, he is tiny. Now he's wide, right? He's wide. He's thick as a brick. But I will say this, he is tiny compared to the land of the giants at 175 cruiserweight or super middleweight, right? That's the reality, guys. And once again, we want to welcome our brother, Sly Tendencies' show. How we doing tonight, everyone? We're doing great, brother. Thank you for joining us. And Jose says, not that it makes much difference, but if he's 5'7", that's crazy. And guys, I'll give you a little insight. That's a reason why Golden Boy, before he added that new wrinkle of being the effective aggressor, that's why they kept him at that absurd catch weight of 155. And Lee, man, I was working with Golden Boy and Don Chargan at that time.
Absolutely, sir. We
and so I know I was there at that time, right?
Yeah, we talked about that back then, yes.
Yeah. Dude, what was that, 10 years ago?
You had always had concern about Canelo moving up in weight because of his height and his reach, and we both had concerns about it. I think that he blew away those concerns. Like at 154, he moved up. He was 160, now 168. But both of us had major concerns when he fought
Lara as well as Mayweather. Yep.
Well, but no, yeah. But when he moved up, when he fought the lineal super middleweight champion from
Callum Smith,
we thought that, man, this guy, because like he remember, like you said, like Canelo like met him and then he like shook his head like, damn, this guy's tall, right? Like,
yep, that was in San Antonio. I was right there. Yep.
He was like Kareem or something. Yeah, like Canelo really took him apart. So
yep.
But that only goes but so far. I mean, Canelo Alvarez is one hell of a fighter. He's an all-time great, in my opinion. He's a hell of a fighter. Uh, like we'll see how far he can go, but the money has to be right. The money has to be. He's not going to fight just anybody. The money has to be right. You got to be a superstar, maybe at light heavyweight for him to go back up again, perhaps, or you have to be weak at light heavyweight. You have to be weak or a superstar for a lot of money. He's not going to do it. Yeah, forget about Beterbiev. That guy is probably the best light heavyweight I've ever seen.
Oh boy! Wait a minute, brother. You came up while Roy Jones was the light heavyweight champion. What the hell, man? What say you, Lee? Explain yourself, Cleveland.
I like I like his prowess. I like his speed. I like his athleticism. But most of all, I like his timing. I like his rhythm. And obviously he's got a good beard. Yep. But we saw that against Gavaci when he was down. This guy is maybe the best light heavyweight ever, in my opinion. Beterbiev is really good. He doesn't get a lot of praise though, because he hasn't really fought a lot. He's like 17-0, 17 knockouts. Yep. But
19-0 with 19 knockouts
is crazy.
Yep.
The way that he moves. It's his technique. His technique is brilliant. So he brings a brawler part. He brings a brawler strongman part.
So understand now the frustration of Dimitri Bivol and his camp when there's no money attached to a unification bout for undisputed with Arthur Beterbiev.
In the what is it? The hypocritical nature of the WBC.
So one Russian is better than the other?
Hey, listen, like I said, you got one of them that lives in California, and you got another one that lives in Canada.
California. Yep.
Like, come on, man.
Well, I guess Quebec, Canada is a bit more neutral than Indio, California.
I guess. Like, jeez.
Jeez. Yeah. You know what, brother? But once again, that doesn't resolve the financial burden that all parties feel, right? There's no money in a fight between Dimitri Bivol and Arthur Beterbiev. Now, once again, if there were a fight that deserves to be in the Middle East, it's this one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But once again, though, you get and once again, I'm going to introduce religion into this, and I know I shouldn't, but it's the reason why, guys. When you get two unorthodox or orthodox, right, Christians into the equation, like you get a Muslim fighter, Arthur Beterbiev, against an Orthodox Christian, right? That's a problem. That's a problem, guys. Once again, if there's any fight that deserves to be in the Middle East, deserves to get that handsome purse, right? It's this one. So why isn't the prince entertaining the prospect of staging this fight in the Middle East?
I'm like, they had Bivol versus Zerdo out there, right? Or was that another part?
No. That was Zurdo Bivol. That was Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Abu Dhabi.
That had nothing to do with the prince.
Yeah.
Right? In skills challenge.
I think Garfield had a hand in that, but that's another story.
Garfield. Oh, Chingao, dude. But I will say this, man. I think Lee has the beat right now, guys. And I know fans hate to hear this, but he who has the gold makes the rules in boxing. Yeah. It's the golden rule. And Canelo, in the twilight of his career, understanding that he doesn't have many years left devoted to the sport, He's going to fight whoever he wants, when he wants, and that's it. Either you want the fight or you don't. So, Lee, I'm going to ask you, Bivol, with no more enticing offers, why isn't he taking the cool $5 million to face Canelo Alvarez in the rematch?
Why isn't Bivol taking that fight?
Yep.
Well, first of all, I think I can tell you a little bit, is because he's like, well, all right, so you've got common sense and you've got boxing sense, right? Like common sense says, hey, I beat you the first time. I beat you. It was a title fight. I deserve, maybe I don't deserve as much money as you because you're Canelo, but I deserve more than $5 million. Okay, so I deserve, you paid me $5 million last time. Maybe I deserve $7 or $8 million this time. But your money has to come down. My money has to go up because I beat you. Like that's sort of
Conventional wisdom. Conventional wisdom.
That way, right? But then there's this other sense where Canelo's like, but you can't get anything else better, right? Like there's a, well, you know what? I can take it or leave it because I can get 15 million. I can fight Joseph Heron for 15 million. Okay. And you can't fight anyone for 5 million. So either you take 5 million with me, or you take 1 or 2 million or 3 million with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So, in your opinion, Lee, is Canelo, is he being unfair, or is Bivol, well, suffering from being the recipient of 2 consecutive inflated purses?
I think it's a little bit more the first, but it's tough because it's easy for me to say, oh, okay, well, Bivol is blah, 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 blah. If I'm in that position, I might feel the same way too. I might be like, well, damn, I've been working my ass off. I've been the number one guy in boxing. Can I get a break? Can I get one of these big fights? So in that sense, yeah, I'm thinking I beat the number one guy in boxing. I should be a lot better off. But again, like you said, it's all a matter of putting butts in the seats.
Yep.
Selling pay-per-views.
So let me ask you, Lee, before we move on to James, where is Dimitri Bivol a ticket seller? Is he a ticket seller anywhere?
Not a major ticket seller. Like in my not from. I mean, obviously, okay, not to my knowledge anywhere. And then his country, Russia, I think we've boycotted them. So anything. So no.
Yeah.
No.
That's a big problem for Dimitri Bivol. So once again, James, do you understand why Bivol is actually, well, have a hard no to Canelo's existing offer?
Well, I mean, he could have a hard no to Canelo's existing offer, but in the way that Lee explained it, this is kind of looking a little similar to the situation between Tyson Luke Fury and Alexander Usyk.
That's it. It.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, we've kind of had, a couple of, instances reference the rematch in terms of the rematch where some things got worked out, but in other senses, it's been very difficult to make it happen. But Lee explained it perfectly when he said, like, hey, Canelo's like telling Bivol, it's like, hey, we're gonna offer you this $5 million, and let's see, good luck to you finding another fight where you could get $5 million.
That's it. That's it, guys. And once again, man, I'm sorry. As you were, James. Go ahead, sir.
I was gonna kind of dispute in a way something that Slide Tendency said.
Yes, sir.
In reference to PBC ain't putting up
Okay, let's put that on the board, man. Thank you, Slight Tendencies, for your comment. So here it comes with both barrels, brother.
Now, you're talking about PBC that has a much larger market or target base where they can reach fans of Canelo Alvarez, of David Benavidez, right? And the last time that they did a one-off with Canelo Alvarez was with Caleb Plant, and they offered him $40 million for that. And at that time, when that fight came off, that was the most successful event that they had up to the point of, outside of the Wilder Fury joint. So yeah, they had no issues putting up $50 million, especially when they initially offered them $50 million last year. So hey, they ain't got no problems with that. If they feel like they will be able to get the numbers to make up for that $50 million that they are offering Canelo Alvarez and whatever they offer David Benavidez, then yeah, they're gonna do that.
Well, look. If Samson Lukowitz, and once again, this is a straight shooter, right? This is a guy who is no nonsense. If he says that he's come up with 40 million or 50 million for Canelo Alvarez for a David Benavidez fight, you take it to the bank. You take it to the bank. Okay, because Samson, and as you well know, James, everyone within the industry respects Samson Lukowitz. Now, I know that a lot of lesser channels who aren't in this business, they refer to Samson as Shyster Lukowitz. Idiots, right? But that's not the reality. What's been your dealings with Samson Lukowitz up to this point? And do you know anyone who dislikes Samson Lukowitz within the business?
Nope, not with
not even close. Not even close.
Not even close. Nope. And anytime you talk with him, like he's like one of the greatest guys to talk with. So
he's a straight shooter, guys. And once again, all you have to know is his business dealings. Look at his track record. If he says he's going to do something, he does it. Guys, this is why everyone loves to work with Samson on every level of this business. And so that's dog shit. So once again, Sly, this is a misnomer. PBC isn't putting up the money for David Benavidez and Canelo Alvarez. It's Samson Lukowitz, his promoter. And so if he has that offer in hand, then you take it to the bank. That's the reality. Because Samson Lukowitz is a straight shooter.
Are you saying what $40 million, Joseph?
Yep.
For David Benavidez?
Yep.
That's a stretch for me. Like, I mean, I don't know where the money's coming from, but okay.
Once again, it's Samson who actually got this offer for a Canelo fight. Now, once again, this isn't David Benavidez. This is for Canelo.
What?
So Jerry E says Samson doesn't have the 50 million. Stop the cap. Maybe not himself. But once again, very few promoters have 50 million to throw away. Now, once again, guys, and this is a lesson to all of you who don't understand the business of boxing. Now, Matchroom, do they have 50 million? No. That's why you're seeing so many of Eddie Hearn's big fights taking place in the near future in the Middle East. Okay, Bob Arum, is he gambling with his money? Absolutely not. It's ESPN's money. PBC, Al Heyman, does he negotiate anything with his own money? No. Spence Crawford, that was made with Steven Espinosa and Showtime's money. So Jerry E., Do you really know what the hell you're talking about? No. So if anyone needs to stop the cap, it's fans who religiously think they know more than they do. So Jerry E., I'm going to tell you, stop the fucking cap. James, would you like to expand on that?
Joe, you kind of bring up, music often in reference to things like this.
Of course.
And I bring up music in the nightlife and that type of stuff. I've also explained this on my show. When you're a promoter, there's a couple of things that you handle, and there's other things that other groups handle.
Yep.
Right? But in this particular instance, when it comes to shows of this magnitude, right?
Yep.
The networks, or pretty much like sponsors, they handle the brunt of the biggest costs. What a promoter does is advertising, marketing, and usually securing the venue. That's pretty much it.
Yep. Boxing source. James, what promoter these days on the world-class level, what promoters use their own money to negotiate deals?
0%.
Zero. So once again, Jerry E., shut your ass. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. And once again, oh, here comes a Canelo apologist. I love this shit. Canelo makes his own money. That's why whatever promotion company he works at pays him what he wants. When did Samson ever pay anybody? You know what, dude? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And I'm starting to get pissed now. Okay? So once again, shut your ass. Keep quiet while the adults speak. And if you want to actually learn something about the business, then listen. Okay? Until then, shut up. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Whatever promotion company he works with pays him what he wants. Okay, I want you to look up those promotional companies that he worked with over the course of his history, whether it's Golden Boy, whether it's Zamford Promotions.
No. Hold on, James. Now, I want to ask Jerry, since he seems to have a grasp of the business of boxing, why do you think Eddie Hearn is interested in a Middle Eastern fight between Badu Jack and Canelo Alvarez? Why? Because the zone, doesn't have a warm fuzzy about the Bivol fight after the Ryder debacle. Okay, Jerry, since you have a grasp of the business of boxing, how much money did the zone make with the Ryder fight, the Ryder pay-per-view? How much? James, would you like to answer that question?
Not that much money.
They lost their ass, brother.
They lost money.
They lost their ass with the guaranteed purse of Canelo Alvarez. They lost their ass. The truth of the matter is, okay, they don't have a warm, fuzzy feeling and are confident about a Dimitri Bivol rematch. That's the gist of it.
And for me, it's pretty much like he might be in a little bit of a situation, given those opponents that he looks like he is, preferring. Because think about it. Who would be really interested in a fight that has Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga? That's number one. And number two, as stated in reference to this potential Canelo versus W.A.W. Jack fight, that's no different than what you had with the Joshua Ruiz rematch, no different than what you had with Joshua versus Usyk out there. Like, there's only a few things that you're able to do where you're not going to be able to foot the bill for those high, purses that these fighters ask for. And no, the promoters don't fit that bill.
So James Lee, I'm going to read this once again. Now, once again. Now, yes, Jerry, we are making an example out of you, brother. He says, Canelo makes his own money. That's why whatever promotional company he works with, pays him what he wants. Okay. Well, you look at the year that he's had, right? Starting with the Bivol loss, starting with the Golovkin money pit, and then ending with the John Ryder money pit. So, DAZN, Lee, are they all that anxious in, well, putting forth the money to support a Bivol rematch, understanding what both fighters are currently requesting?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Now let me backtrack. Like, this is sort of a double-edged sword here, because I think in any normal circumstance, you go back to the 80s or the 90s or the early 2000s, without the streaming, the free streaming that we have, and the videos and the YouTubes and all the highlights that we get during the fight, I think, well, maybe you have a chance, but not today. I think that not today. It's.
Whoa. Hold on, guys. Hold on. So, Jerry, did you ride in on a unicorn when you brought these stats? Canelo versus Triple G3 sold over 1 million. Bivol Canelo sold over 800,000. Brother, and is Canelo fighting Paul Bunyan next? Dude, you're a fanboy, and it's obvious. It's dog shit. Where are you finding your information? Post me a link, brother. Okay? From the information you have. Otherwise, it's dog shit. You've been listening to the wrong channels.
What
Jerry?
did Bivol Canelo did?
He said Bivol Canelo did 800,000 per pay-per-view purchases. Oh, now he's saying, oh, it did, clown. Look it up. Look it up where? Post the link, you cocksucker. Bivol turned down a career high payday. What, career high of 2 million guaranteed plus the upside? Okay. Kiss my ass. I'm in this business and I understand the reality of it. Hey, when have you worked a day in this business? Who do you know in this business? Can you call Samson Lukowitz at this time? Can you call Eddie Reynoso at this time to verify any of this? Can you call Kevin Rooney Jr. at this time, who's the matchmaker of Matchroom Sport, to verify this? No? Then shut the fuck up. Okay. With that said, my brother Issy DeVoe, thank you for the super chat, sir. Great weekend of line boxing. Went to a local card in LA that featured a bunch of wild card fighters, and went to the Munguia on Saturday night in Ontario, California. Lee, that brings us to our final topic of the evening. Is Sergey Derevyanchenko the unluckiest fighter in the history of our beloved boxing?
Yes, he is. God, I feel so sorry for
Oh
him.
my gosh!
Here's a guy who comes along. He's got a great amateur record. A lot of pizzazz behind him. Fights hell like a fight of the year candidate with Triple G. Gets knocked down, and that's the difference of the fight. I think. Well, I mean, then sometime before or after that, he fought Danny Jacobs. Had like a fight of the year type candidate. Got knocked down. That was the difference in the fight. And now, it's like we were just talking about this Saturday night. I'm like, gosh, this guy is so unlucky. And now he fought Jaime Munguia, this young upstart guy, one hell of a fighter, top 10 in his weight class. And on the back end of his career, gets knocked down in the 12th round. That's the difference in the fight. I mean, it's like, yes. I don't know I want to cry a little bit because
I will say this, Lee. Once again, after we watched the Teofimo Lopez fight, right? I actually watched the Derevyanchenko Munguia fight, and I had, once again, like you just stated, Derevyanchenko leading 6 rounds to 5 going into the final round.
uh-huh.
And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, he's finally going to do it.
Yep.
He's geez. And then he gets knocked down. 10-8 round for Jaime Munguia results in a 114-113 scorecard. Well, from my mind. This is a guy who can't buy a break.
No. And now he's what, 36? What is he, 36, 37?
Yep. That's it. So Jose Barrera says Derevyanchenko got robbed. Look, brother, it could have gone either way. And once again, that results in a split decision verdict. And look, it resulted in a great fight. Potential fight of the year candidate. James, what are your thoughts on the very unlucky Sergey Derevyanchenko?
I mean, he just, ended up getting a bad break in this one. I hadn't seen the scorecards, but for the first, 5 or 6 rounds, I thought that, he was, moving around the ring very well, making, Munguia work very hard in order to, get his offense going, while scoring, good shots of his own. And then in the 5th round, he, landed a big left hook that, shook or rocked Munguia. And I thought, hey, he probably could, get him, but he wasn't able to, at least score a knockdown or try to finish him at that point. And then, after the 7th round, you just seen his movement, just kind of go to a halt. So once that happened, then that's when Munguia was able to catch up to him. And then in that final round, when that knockdown was scored, I was like, dang it, so that was, pretty much, the difference in it. But,
hey, James, talk about the 5th and how you were feeling watching that live.
I was like, come on, you could get him,
Look, guys, here's the frustration about Jaime Munguia. Big ticket seller on the West Coast. There's so much to like about Munguia. All action, all balls, great chin, all action, right? But if you're Golden Boy Promotions, James, what do you do with Jaime Munguia from this point forward? To be honest with you guys, I would be all in favor of Canelo versus Jaime Munguia rather than Badu Jack or Hamburger Lenga.
Hamburger Lenga. or Hamburger Lenga.
And there it is, brother. So what say you about Jaime Munguia moving forward? Should Oscar De La Hoya and company merely cut their losses and say, this is as good as he's going to get? Or do you still try to keep him on a short leash?
Man, I wish that they would drop him, but I seen something from one of my guys out there covering sport too, Boog Williams, that's LW Boxing.
Yep.
And he, brought up the idea of, maybe they could rehash the idea of Munguia versus John Ryder here. So,
Oh boy. Yeah.
Yes.
What's that going to prove? What's that going to solve? Refugio Garcia, our brother. He says the most unlucky guys are the guys that beat Rolly. That's twice Rolly was gifted a belt. 1, Jackson Martinez,
Yep.
and 2, Yoga Flame.
Yep.
Yeah, Rolly Romero, the luckiest guy. That's hard to refute, isn't it?
Yeah.
Want to also welcome our brother Jesus M. Salute to you, brother. And Hard Times as a beat. He says, poor Derevyanchenko. The man always gives his opponents hell, but never gets a break. I think we all knew he would have a tough time winning a decision. But you know what? The judges at ringside, once again, guys, it works. The 3-judge system works. It was a split decision in favor of the guy who scored the knockdown. James, is it impossible to refute?
Yeah, I thought that thing was a unanimous, but yeah, that was
Split decision.
yeah. So my thing was, it was just like I said, a bad break for man.
So, Lee, can you think of another guy who's as unlucky as Sergey?
I'm trying to. If you gave me some time, like a half an hour, I'm sure I could dig up some right now, I'm thinking like maybe Andrew Galata. Andrew Galata with the low blows, but I can't think of anyone else offhand. But I know I could. Andrew Galata comes off first. But I'm sure.
Whoa. Was that before or after getting flattened by Layman Brewster?
Oh, well, obviously before.
No, I just thought I'd throw that in because Layman's a very dear friend of mine, right, in this business. But I will say, Issy, thank you for always being a great fan of boxing. Unlike this ass clown, right? Jerry E. He says, "Oh, you work for boxing, but begging for $4 super chats." Shut the fuck up. Now, I will say this. I'm not begging for anything. This is not my primary source of income. I do this for you guys. I already know this shit. So does Lee. So does James. We're doing this for you guys. If you don't want to believe it, that's on you. Okay? If you don't want to hear the truth and you don't want to accept the truth, that's on you guys. Right? Most of my listeners, they understand. Our track record proves itself, right? But I will say this, and this is my final thoughts on the show. I do have to bolt off. And once again, Lee, James, thank you for being such an integral part of this program. I will say this, though. Guys, YouTube, if you guys want to contribute to the show, send it via Cash App. Because once again, YouTube and AdSense, they're withholding funds that have nothing to do with ad revenue. Okay? They're withholding that for over a month. James, am I wrong about that?
Yeah, they do some crazy stuff.
So once again, they withhold these funds that have absolutely nothing. And once again, your money, your donations, your contributions are instantaneous. They have no reason to withhold this money, but they do it. And once again, it's just our experience in the business. They're withholding this money. Now think about all of the content creators that get super chats and super stickers. It goes into an escrow account in which they make interest over the course of 30 days until they finally release it. James, how much money do you think they're making off of interest alone off of the 2 million content creators on YouTube platform right now?
Billions.
Yep. So once again, Jerry E., get a clue. You don't know shit, clown. Talk to someone else. Go to another channel. This one isn't for you. Okay? This one isn't for you. Go to Lady Chan's or go to Ring IQ's. That's more your speed. They're fans. They're fans. They're glorified fans with a microphone and a camera. Okay, that's more your speed. We're actually in this business, you fucking dipshit. kiss my ass.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
there it is. Those are
knows-
my parting shots. Lee, your parting shots for this evening, my friend.
You know, boxing. Like, this is the only show I listen to. I don't like all the conspiracy theories and all the craziness. I like common sense.
Yep.
Common sense, impartial. Just this is real boxing for me. But like I know that today is it's so crazy because so many people and it's not only boxing, it's other avenues. They don't really want to hear the truth. This is common sense backed up by common sense. Joseph is not going to say anything without backing up. He's not going to say, "Oh, well, this is this," just because. He's going to back it up. But that's the way things go. Like, that's where the cookie crumbles. Sometimes we don't like hearing the business end of the sport. As a fan, sometimes it's kind of tough. But Joseph gives you both perspective because he knows. He's worked with Don Chargan, Hall of Famer, who passed away a few years ago. I knew Don Chargan, not as well as Joseph, but Joseph introduced me. I knew Emmanuel Stewart, not as well as Joseph, but he introduced me. He has worked with these guys, so he knows. He goes back to the 30s, 40s, and 50s. So this is real boxing, and this is not some sort of nonsense where it's like, "Hey man, I heard this through the grapevine that blah blah blah." Yeah, like he knows what he's talking about. Like, I'm not going to waste my time on any other show. No, I'm not saying there are not other good shows out there, but I know a lot of the shows out there that I've heard are just gibberish. And like, yeah, like that's all I can say. Like, that's.
Well, Lee, I appreciate your time on this show, brother, and thank you for the kind words, my friend. But once again, there would be no Warwick Radio without your involvement. Once again, guys, I strongly urge all of you guys to go visit fightsaga.com. Okay? Go visit fightsaga.com. Okay? And let your opinions be known. Lee, thank you so much for being an integral part of this program. Thank you, my brother. I love you, man. And thank you for supporting Warwick Radio. God bless you, my friend. James, your parting shots for tonight's episode.
Well, on the last thing there, reference to you talk about Sergey Derevyanchenko being a unlucky fighter. He had like a couple of suggestions, on the chat, like Andre joked about Mick Conlon.
Oh, jeez.
And then Jack Catterall. I mean, yeah, Jack Catterall, caught a bad break there in this.
But that was just once.
Yeah,
that was once.
Yeah. So there's that. But like I said, I mean, I have my show, and I know, Joe, you've had your show for years and years to show fans what's going on in boxing, like all facets. You know what I'm saying? Not just with the fighters, but with the promoters, the business, managers, advisors, all that type of stuff. So, like for example, when you bring up, like your article that you had a while ago about there's no ducking in boxing, we pretty much explain why that is the case, why business is a very key part in boxing. And when fans don't understand the numbers, then they'll never understand why things either happen or don't happen.
That's it.
And we try to explain it, and if folks don't understand it, hey, y'all might as well go somewhere else, because if you want to say, oh, this guy's doing this and this guy's doing that, you could go to another channel, because we don't I don't tolerate that. In this, what they call the quote unquote information age, people should know better. I'm just being real. People should know better. But
that's it. That's it. And once again, James, you're a credit to the business, my friend.
And
Thank you for bringing back integrity to the boxing industry. God bless you, brother. You do great journalism. Lee, your thoughts, brother.
Real quickly. Like what he said made a lot of sense. Like, I remember, like I'm gonna take you back in time here, but when I was boxing, I boxed a lot of guys on the East Coast. I remember when I first started boxing, there was me in the gym, and I was an upstart, and there was a guy named.
First of all, who is your trainer? Who's your trainer, Lee? Tell us who was your trainer.
There was a guy named Shambe Mitchell.
And there it is.
He became a champion. Yep. And I wanted to fight him so bad. I wasn't scared of anybody. Like I begged to fight Shambe Mitchell. He ended up fighting. He lost his title to Costa Zoo, but I wanted to fight him so bad. And you know what, Joseph? I would have killed. But no one, when you're a young fighter, you're not really scared. Most fighters aren't really scared of anyone. You want to, like, I knew
that's a myth. That's a myth, Lee.
I knew Shambe would beat me, but it's just like, you know what? I want to see, what does he have to beat me with? Yeah, you might beat me, but what do you have to beat me with? Like, I had a hard on fighting Shambe Mitchell. But I never let us spar at that time because I was just starting out. I was only about 4 or 5 months into boxing, and Shambe had 7 or 8 fights by then. He had 7 or 8 pro fights, and I was just like 18. I'd only been fighting for 4 months. But I'm like, man, like I saw him in the gym. He was from, like, I would love to fight this guy. It's like, what can I do against him? Like, maybe I can't win. But it's like, what can I do?
Now, Lee, try and equate that logic to these fans who truly believe that ducking is a real thing in the business of boxing.
Most fighters don't duck. Like they don't. Like, and again, you've had great tutelage with Emmanuel Stewart, Hall of Famer, and fighters aren't really. If you're a fighter, especially if you're a young fighter, you want to like listen. I swear, at 20 years old, I would have loved to get in the ring with Fury. At 20 years old, 165 pounds, I would have. I mean, not to say that I could win because I couldn't, but I'm just like, let me test my wits against yours. Let me see how far I can go. Maybe I can stagger you.
Look. Even these guys who club fighters on the club level who get chosen for opponents for the prospects of Top Rank, Matchroom, or PBC, even they have the mindset of, hey, man, where do I sign? You know what? I know I'm probably in over my head, but you know what? I think they picked on the wrong guy.
Yes.
I think they're underestimating me. In fact, I can't wait to be on national TV, and I can't wait to prove them wrong. That's their mindset. Ducking is a fan-driven concept that doesn't exist within the business of boxing.
At 22, I would have fought Tyson Fury for free. Now, looking back, okay, yeah, I would have gotten knocked out. But back then, it's just like, you know what? Maybe I can't win, but maybe I can put on such a good show. Maybe I can stagger them. Maybe I can take them the distance. Maybe I can do something. Like, you're never really scared. When you're a young fighter, you're not scared of anybody.
Nope.
Canelo's not scared of Joshua or Fury.
Now apply that logic now to the elite of boxing. Okay? So answer me this, Lee. Is there anyone who is afraid of anyone in this fucking business?
Fighters, no. I mean, fighters have
It's
confidence.
absurd. So why do fans consistently carry around this illogical bullshit?
I think a lot of it is I mean, well, you have managers, of course, managers and handlers that are afraid for their fighters because they're like the Mickey to the Rockies, right?
Well, and also they're the ones who have invested a lot of money in these athletes.
Right. So Mickey's telling Rocky, "Hey kid, this guy called Plumber, he's a killer." And then Rocky's thinking like, "Oh man, I'm gonna kill this guy."
Hey, we
right?
can beat this guy, Mick.
But yeah, even when I mean, I had like 3 or 4 months under my belt. Oh my God, there were so many guys I wanted to get in the ring with, and there are some guys I got in the ring with, and some guys I did well against, some guys I didn't do well against. But you're not afraid of anybody. You're like excited. Like again, if I'm 170 pounds and I'm 22 years old, hell yeah, I'll get in the ring with Fury, just to see what he had. Like, no, maybe I can't win, but just to see what he has. And then I'm thinking in my mind, it's like, you know what? He might beat me, but you know what? If I can stagger him, I can get a lot of shots in. I can make a name for myself. Like, yeah, confidence is always there, right? Like, you're always thinking, like, yeah, I'd love to get this guy in the ring. Like,
and there it is. And there it is, guys. Once again, we're gonna bring you the reality of the boxing industry. Okay? So if you believe in unicorns, if you believe in Paul Bunyan, if you believe in these warriors being afraid of anyone else that more than likely they've fought in the amateurs or they've already sparred with, if you believe they're genuinely afraid, okay, then this program is not for you. Okay? That's it, guys. And once again, we want to thank EJ, want to thank our brother, James from the Boxing Source. Guys, go subscribe to his channel. And also, please go bookmark not only boxingsource.net, but also fightsaga.com. Guys, on behalf of EJ, James, Lee, I'm Joseph Heron.
Hey, Joe.
No, go ahead, sir. Final comments.
I got one more thing. In reference to that ducking thing, I wanted to quote something from a certain movie. The way you been ducking is a disgrace. If he ain't no coward, why don't you fight me then?
Woo! I love Rocky 3, guys. That's my favorite
Right.
Rocky movie of all time. Once
But
again,
as you know, it wasn't Rocky, it was his manager, who actually at the time knew better. At that time, he knew better, right? So it's your handlers that you really put your faith in when you're a fighter. Like, it's your handlers. Because you'll fight anybody, but it's your handlers. With Canelo, it's the Reynosos, right?
Mm-hmm. So coming full circle, right? Coming full circle, let's hope that Teofimo's handlers get that memo, right? Instead of thinking that he deserves 9 figures in his next contract, right? Shit. Guys, I want to thank you all for joining us tonight in this, well, almost 2 hours, hour and 45 minutes. Guys, on behalf of Lee, on behalf of JR from the Boxing Source, on behalf of EJ, guys, I'm Joseph Heron. You've been listening to Warwick Radio. Have a great evening, everybody.
FightSaga.com and Halftime Pizza proudly present